Hey, everybody. This is your girl, Geisha 305, and I have a special guest, Tamara. This is Cuffy's daughter. If you don't know who Cuffy is a longtime friend of Big Meech. You might know Big Meech from the movie BMF or the TV series BMF that 50 Cent put out and had his son starring as his father in BMF. So right now we have Tamara, Cuffy's daughter, coming up on my live for a live interview. I really wanted an input from her on what it's like having a father that is, currently incarcerated, allegedly because of an informant by the name of Tammy Cohen that was detoured Cuffy's way by Big Meech allegedly. So I'm going to be bringing Tamara up, and she's going to be giving us all the tea and all the details. For you guys that's detouring over here to Geisha 305, make sure you hit the follow button. When I bring Tamara on, make sure you follow her as well. She also has a page supporting her father, Cuffy. So we will pin, the pages at the bottom of this live so you can make sure that you follow. I think I see her right now. I'm gonna bring her up. You gotta write something. Write something. Write something in the comments. Tamara, write something in the comments so I can request you up, or you can request me. Yeah, write something in the comments. Soon as you comment something so I can request you up. Because I just saw you detour in the room. Hey, everybody tuning in. This is Geisha 305. I have a live interview with Tamara, Cuffy's daughter, Big Meech's long-term friend that's facing some heat right now, allegedly. Well, I'm not going to say allegedly because, a lot of people are showing paperwork. So I'm going to just let Tamara come up and just tell her story right now. I'm waiting for her to comment in the comment section so I can bring her up on this live. Whenever you ready, Tamara, you just write something in the comments so I can request you. I saw you detour through the live, but I need to see a comment so I can pull you right on. I see the request right now. Just let me know if you know how to add yourself. Hey!
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly fine. Let me pull this camera up some because when you add it on, it kind of chopped my head off a little bit. Okay. So everybody, I have Tamara in the room. This is Cuffy's daughter. How you doing, Tamara?
I'm good. How are
I'm
you?
doing fine. Am I pronouncing the name right?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So, I brought you on this live to, get more input on, the stories that have erupted the internet, far as Big Meech sending an informant your father's way by the name of Tammy Cohen's. I think you
Okay.
could give me better details because I don't know the details of it. So I'm gonna let you start off by telling your side of the story. Tamara, you could go ahead and talk right now.
Okay. So my dad's name is Dion Gatling. So a lot of people know him as Cuffy. That's his nickname. But we're from St. Louis, Missouri, and he's been friends with Big Meech for a long, long time. So ever since I was born, they've been friends. So I've known him all my life, and they were so close. They were like brothers. I'll say that. And then so in 2014, my dad got indicted, and so they picked him up, and then we realized that he was set up by Meech and Tammy Cohen's, the
And
lady who
how and
owns
how
his
did you
power of
find that
attorney.
out?
Well, when somebody is indicted, eventually they'll get a discovery. So when we got the discovery, anytime a person gets a discovery, you know exactly who you talk to. So he knew exactly who CS1 was, and it was her. And then so immediately he didn't even believe that Meech, had anything to do with it. So he put a few messages out to get the word back to him that she was an informant. And Meech had responded back through a friend saying that basically, um, basically she'll straighten this out. This can't be right. She's not an informant. Just give her a call, and they sent her number.
But that's her
But
job. Her job is to deny if she is an informant. She's not going to say she's an informant because when, basically her life would be in jeopardy if they found out, right?
well, at that moment we knew for a fact because we he was already locked up. But um basically, so I'm getting mixed up, sorry. So because this was 11 years ago. So when he was locked up, basically he read through it, and he Meech should have been at the top of the indictment because it was Meech's plan from the beginning, asking him for a favor. So the whole like drug deal was for Meech needing a favor, and it was basically him reaching out to my dad, and the Mexican that named Suarez was somebody that Meech had met in jail. So my dad didn't know Suarez. And then him and Tammy, my dad's relationship with Tammy at the time was working on stuff that was completely legal. So they were working on trying to do the BMF movie.
So are you saying that basically Big Meech allegedly was ambushing your father?
Yes, I mean that's what we later figured out. But in the beginning, we was like, my dad gave him the benefit of the doubt to clear things up. And then so that last time that they talked was probably 12, maybe 12 years ago, 12, 13 years ago. So after he was set up, they haven't talked since.
Wow. So Big Meech, even after these claims were brought to the forefront, he never tried to reach out to your father after everything hit the fan. Is that like a guilty sign for you?
For me, yeah, 110%, because I know if I set my friend up by accident, I'm gonna be remorseful, and I'm be like, whatever we gotta do, we're gonna make it right. But a lot of people were like his hands were tied because she owned his life rights. At the end of the day, my dad in the beginning of the case was facing the death penalty. So fuck all of that. Fuck the money, fuck the show, fuck all of that. So in the beginning of the case, how serious it was, I would try. I mean, that's just me. If I accidentally set somebody up, I would be very, very remorseful, asking them for forgiveness or just trying to make it right. Because honestly, my dad would have rocked with him if that was the case.
Did your dad beat the death penalty uh,
Well, they
charge?
ended up his lawyer, so they ended up taking it off the table. But
Wow.
the prosecutor at the time, he had a vendetta.
So how does it feel watching all these people out here on the streets free and celebrating with their kids, fellowshipping with their kids, um, their kids being granted opportunities, and you have to send kites to to
Get
prison and go out
messages.
there and visit.
I mean,
How does that make you
and
feel?
I'm this the last 11 years have been traumatic because I'm a daddy's girl to the full. Like, I'm obsessed with my dad. Like, me and him are so close. So like when he left, I felt like a part of me left. Like even thinking about it right now makes me want to cry.
Wow, wow.
But yeah, so like my son is 11, and that's how I keep track of how long he's been gone, because they came and got him 3 weeks before my baby was born.
So he didn't even get a chance to, celebrate the birth of your child.
No.
Wow. Wow.
So my dad, my son, he knows
Have
how
you
much I
ever
love my
tried to
dad.
reach out to Big Meech and talk to him?
Um, I've thought about it. Like I was gonna, because I felt like I had so much hate in my heart that I felt like, I need to like release this and forgive him. And I was gonna write him a letter just explaining to him just how I felt. Like, you didn't really hurt my dad, you hurt me.
So Big Meech was around when you were a little girl. He was around when you were born. That's how long your father and him have been affiliated and
So
close.
I was born in 89. They met 1990 or 1991.
Mm.
So Meech was around constantly until my dad ended up getting indicted in 95. So when I was 5, my dad had got locked up.
How did the family take finding out Big Meech was on paperwork, helping to keep your father on the inside?
Well, our with my family, anything, they know my dad's caliber, so he didn't have to, explain anything to them. They know if he said that's what it was. So they just made sure that they was at every court date and supported him as much as they could. But like with our family, he didn't have to prove nothing to them.
And was it your father's idea or Big Meech's idea to bring BMF to the table as far as being televised?
Um, I believe so. I don't know whose idea was it first, but I know that actually, I believe he reached out to my dad because my dad was like, he felt like my dad had been there from the beginning of BMS, so he felt like nobody could tell the story better than him. So my dad was working with Meech, T, and Tammy.
So what was your father's position in BMF, or can you elaborate on that at all?
So he doesn't really, so BMF, the name Black Mafia Family came after he was already doing time his first bid. And
Okay.
so that came more from the music industry, like when they started working with Blue. But my dad, like he never like affiliated himself with any gang. He always said he stand alone, but he was he was super influential. Like honestly, I don't think it would exist without St. Louis because when Meech connected with my dad here, they started making millions.
Mm. So was your father close to Terry, Big Meech's brother?
I I believe he was close to both of them, but way closer to Meech. So Terry was close to my uncle, Wani, that passed.
Okay. And
A
who
lot
is
of people know
Magic?
him as
Is
Magic.
there a relative named Magic?
That's him. So Wani is what we call him here in St. Louis, but Magic is what a lot of people know him as.
Okay.
And so
That
So
was
it was
his
like
good
the
money
brothers were
name.
right. The brothers were kind of divided. Like Terry and my uncle Magic, Wani, Magic, whichever one you want to call him, were super duper close, and then Meech and my dad were super duper close.
So who met who first? Did Meech meet Magic first and was introduced to Cuffy, or he met Cuffy first?
No, my dad is the big brother, so he didn't even want his brother to be off into anything like that. So Meech met my dad.
Wow. Wow.
But when he got locked up, they started they just rocked out.
How does it make you feel to see Big Meech do a video and deny the claims that 50 Cent stated about Tammy Cohen's? And he sat in front of that video and said, death before dishonor, and, he would
I just
never
know that
snitch.
I felt good because you could just tell from the video it's bullshit. So I felt really good because I'm like you could just tell he's that's what they go by death before dishonor, but everything that they preach and say that they're about is really what my dad is about.
Mm, mm. So basically, it's like stealing game and using it for yourself.
Exactly. Like imagine being close to somebody and you admire some things in them and emulate it basically.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
But it's really not in you.
So do you think Big Meech will, duck off from the scene since, everybody is doing these podcasts and is circulating that he's allegedly a rat? Do you think he will, fall back for a while?
He fell back for the last 11 years. So the one time he did speak out, the internet tore him apart. So I feel like his only play at this point is to come out and tell the truth and just try to teach the youth like to not live the same lifestyle as him, because Meech probably didn't know that he would fold or turn into any of this. You don't know until you face in time. If you never did time, you don't know what you'll do when your back's against the wall. A lot of people think they're solid or think they can handle stuff until they're in that position. So a lot of people don't know who they are until
Is your
you're
father
in
still
that
going to
situation.
trial, or his conviction is solid right now?
He's
What
still
did your
going.
father catch?
He's gonna stay going. He's a fighter. He's not gonna stop. Like all he needs is a little bit of hope.
What was the
That's it.
time that they gave him though?
Total, they gave him 27 years.
Mm.
So he served 11. So for my son is 11, he served 11. Well, my son is about to be 11. And so that's how I can keep track of how long he's been gone.
Did you feel remorseful for Lil Meech when 50 Cent rejected him and cut ties with Lil Meech?
Um, tiny little bit, but also no. Because it's just like at first I was just thinking that, the messages got posted, but Lil Meech was laughing at 50 Cent in his story. I mean, his close friends, so he didn't realize that somebody was gonna leak it. So a lot of people see 50 Cent react, but they don't realize that people are poking a bear.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. And
And he's not a
my
baby
thoughts my
anymore.
thoughts on him cutting Lil Meech off was basically cutting ties with the family, period. Because Lil Meech loved his father, and if Lil Meech eat, he's gonna make sure his father eat. And
Yeah.
50 Cent is not on that type of time, you know. So
Yeah.
with that being said, have you ever reached out to 50 Cent to talk to him?
Um, I've been trolling 50 Cent for 11 years. Anytime the BMF posts pop up, I know he's seeing Tamara Lene under there for sure. But I've been fighting it for so long, and I couldn't get any platform to pick it up. And now I kind of understand it. It would have took somebody like a 50 Cent to stamp it for the
That's
other
right.
blogs
That's
to
a
feel
fact.
comfortable to repost it, because I think they didn't want to get sued. But it was just shocking to me that they wouldn't pick it up, because I felt like at the end of the day they can go through the facts, figure out what's going on, and cover the story. But it took for 50 Cent, although like if somebody had been looking at YouTube, I was making progress. And it's so funny, the times that I thought that we went viral, we did not go viral.
Wow.
It's so funny looking back on everything. But I just think about all the times where like I got discouraged or like upset, and my dad kept telling me like to have faith and that the truth was gonna come out. I just thought
Still
it was gonna
still
happen
being
like
a father
50.
from the inside. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Because people
yeah.
don't realize, even as adults, we
We,
still be
we
needing our
need it.
parents. We we,
We
we need we,
definitely.
we need that affection, we need that support. And it's just amazing how he still is connected with you, and he still uplifts your spirit even when
Yeah,
you're at your lowest moment. And that's what a father does, no matter
and
where he is
yeah,
at the
yeah.
present moment.
He
So I
always
understand
tells
your
me
fight.
that we're the strongest. He always said that. And then like, as far as financial stuff, he was like, the thing about you, he was like, you've already been successful on your own. So he was like, if you did it before, you could do it again. So he'll tell me stories how he had millions and lost millions and got it back. Then,
Do you
so like
believe?
one,
Do you believe that if Meech allegedly, well, I'm gonna say allegedly on my
yeah, that's
behalf,
fine.
but do you think, if Meech could set your father up, there's a possibility that there are more people that he might have done that to?
Oh, there's a huge possibility of that. I was only able to find the original guy she had set up, which was Terry White from Atlanta. But I know that there's other people, because you got to think, if we didn't fight, because that's what they thought we were gonna do, just plea out. If we would have just plead out, we would have never knew who did what or how it really came down. When you fight a case, everything has to come out so you could defend yourself. So a lot of people aren't gonna fight; they're gonna plea out because it's the feds. They have such a high conviction rate that it's almost impossible. But my dad believe anything is possible, and he feels like he's lucky, so he's gonna fight even if
So
it's
do you
one
think
percent
50
chance.
Cent will do a spinoff with your father, Cuffy?
Uh,
Since he's no longer promoting the TV series BMF, do you think that he will do a spinoff to tell Cuffy's side?
I believe that it's possible. Honestly, I never saw this coming, so like I don't know. I believe that it's very possible because when I like just on my page alone, there's 700,000 people viewing.
Wow.
And when you get on YouTube, that's all that's all they're talking about as far as like, street news or hip hop news. Like this is the hottest trending topic. So, eventually people might want to know Cuff's story.
Yeah, because a lot of things that people try to keep in the dark has this way of detouring to the light anyway.
Like
It's just due time. It's just a matter of time.
it took
So
11
yeah,
years,
that's a long time. 11 years.
11 years. It's
Yeah,
and that's why like I still can't believe it's happening.
yeah, yeah. Do you really believe in your heart that there's a possibility that your dad won't do the full 27 and he will come home soon?
Yeah, I believe it 110%. And even like now, even more, just because I just watched the whole miracle. Because if you would have heard just the story of just everything in our family for like these last 11 years, like even just a few weeks ago, my son had open heart surgery. So it's just like God has just been putting everything in position for something probably way bigger than I ever
And I
imagined. So
see
I
your
just,
father has love for you and his wife. Are you pretty close to his wife?
oh no, that's my
That's your
mom.
mom. Okay. He's
Yeah.
been with the same woman for years.
Yeah, they've been together since I came about.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, does she take to the internet and voice her opinion about everything, or she just,
No, she
stay
doesn't.
in the?
Yeah, I mean, she talks to people, but she doesn't like being off into the mix at all.
Okay, okay,
She leaves that to me.
yeah, she's pretty much low key, and I see where you get it from, because you got a tad bit of shyness in you, so you might have gotten that from
Yeah,
your mom.
yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely do.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's like
yeah.
I have a part of me is not shy, but then there's a
Do you
part of
have
me that's super
other
shy.
siblings?
Yes, it's six of us.
Okay, okay. Are they using their platforms to, support your dad, or it's just you?
Well, we have a baby brother, so he's so much younger that he doesn't really
Know
even
what's really
know
going
half this.
on?
Yeah, he doesn't know what's going on. And then my sisters, they definitely support, but everybody supports differently.
Okay.
So, one of my sisters, she's more on the back scene. My other sister, she's helping more on the legal side. So, it's everybody's kind of like pitching in on what they're good at.
How old are you? What is your age?
I'm 35.
Okay, you're 35. And are you the oldest?
No, I'm not the oldest. I'm the middle
Okay,
child.
you're the middle child. They say it's a
Yeah.
lot of strength in that middle baby.
Yeah. I'm just the one that's just like stone cold a daddy's girl.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I just remember being young and just like I'm a night owl, so like I wouldn't go to sleep until my dad was home.
So do you remember a lot of things when your father was free, far as interacting with you, when he was
Yeah.
out? Do you?
Yeah, I do. Well, it was so the first 5 years of my life I had with him, and then he did 8 years, and then he got out when I was a teenager. So then we made even more memories, and everything was on the up and up. And then I got pregnant, and then he was gone.
Wow. That had to be heartbreaking.
It was devastating, like just devastating. I haven't been the same since.
Who supported you the most when you lost your father to the system? Who supported you the most?
It was just a combination of everybody in different ways, like my sisters, because they could relate to in different ways to how it was affecting them in certain ways. Like I had a sister that was postponing actually getting married because she wanted her dad to walk her down the aisle. So it affected all of us differently, and so we were a big support to each
Did you
other. And then
find
my
yourself
mom is
being
just
distant toward loved ones when that happened to you? Did you find yourself rejecting people?
no. Um, I wanted to fight, so I wanted everybody to just fight with me.
Did you get that? Did you get that type of support to fight with you?
No, not from everybody. Like you got to realize some people are scary. So they're thinking that we don't know. Meech's name
If
is so
somebody
big
may
that
retaliate.
yeah, so they were scared that something might happen to me, and I'm kind of fearless, so I don't really care. I didn't care if something happened to me standing behind my dad. So I felt like if I have to go supporting him, that's just how
I
I have to
like
go.
that. I
So,
like that.
but so I never been scared to not support him.
Shy but fearless. I like that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, but a lot of people they think about those type of things and it scares them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I'm
you
just
got to
I'm
think
just
about
kind of
everything though.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You definitely have to
I
think
just
about
know
it.
that if I was in that position, I would want somebody fighting.
Yeah. You put yourself in the other person's shoes.
Yeah, I'm very empathetic.
Well, I hope that the opportunities that 50 gave Lil Meech pertaining to Big Meech after finding out that Big Meech is on his paperwork, that he will send out an olive branch and do the same thing on your behalf, to support Cuffy.
Y-
Especially since everybody knows that Cuffy is this stand-up guy.
Yeah,
He's never fold or told, like
never.
Big Me said on the video.
He would
So
rather die. He would rather die.
wow, wow. What do you think about people that have their input on people glorifying people that were on the streets and involved in drug dealing and getting money illegally,
Well,
capitalizing
you
off
know,
of
it helped. You got to realize, like, so we're from the projects of St. Louis, so it hurt the community and helped the community at the same time. It helped us reach levels of
Could
money that
you
weren't like,
elaborate on that? How did it help the community?
so being like with the people that were getting a lot of money, they had so many different programs to help people. Just even like with my dad alone, just like how many people and how many families he was supporting. Like him when he left, it was so many people reach out to me even to this day. Like people love him so much, and they'll tell me like a story or something because he was helping so many people. So it like when crack hit in the 90s, it did hurt a lot of people, but it also gave a lot of people some opportunities that they Missouri's super racist. So super racist,
So
super segregated.
opportunities to the black culture wasn't really an option, so people had to find a hustle to see real money to live good.
Yeah, my dad is from the original projects here called the Periagos, and that was literally a science project. Like they did like they put like chemicals down. They did all types of stuff to the people who are from there, and a lot of them don't live past 50. From the tests that they did back then, but also his project also took the dads out of the household
Mm.
because they wouldn't let people move in with the father still being present in the household. So all of this was like a social experiment.
And that's been happening all around the world, like far as in the, well, not all around the world, but over the whole entire United States. The
Yeah, like
the
women
the
in our
propaganda was
family
to get the fathers out of the home.
out of the home, like women in our family, like in our family would have babies, cut the child, the baby daddy off, and have the men in the our family raise the babies.
It's true.
So it broke down the traditional family unit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But Cuffy didn't cut loose. The system
No.
took him away. Yeah.
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 And honestly, he would have been great because everybody can't be a drug dealer and reach those like levels of drug dealing. But honestly, he would have been great at anything he did. He was
Do
special
you
for real. Like,
do you think he would have gotten out of that field if
what
before he even got incarcerated? Do you think he was straying away from that lifestyle because he had a family?
he was trying to, but he's not perfect. Like, so it's just like, your vices, like it's addictive. Like people who are on the streets, it's addictive because they enjoy some parts of it, it's you get power from it. Fast money is
And then
addictive.
you got to think
um
about the age too. They probably was pretty young, seeing money that they never saw before. Sometimes it can
y-
get addictive.
yeah, yeah, my dad was like 13 buying like he was young, doing stuff that a 13-year-old could only dream of these days.
Do you know who introduced him to the game?
I don't know.
He never sat
I
down and
know that
told
I
that
know that
story.
yeah, yeah, I know that it wasn't. I mean, our family, the men in our family were hustlers, but they weren't doing that. So I don't know how. I know that he was. We have like an Italian area here, and I know that his first job was for these like kind of like Italian mobsters.
Wow,
Like
he
he
might have
was
got
just
his
like a
name from
bus
that.
boy.
Yeah.
But I had met a random Italian guy, and he was like, "I remember your dad from when I was little." So, so many people know him. So many people have
Have
stories.
people been
Um,
supporting your father on the inside? Like, do he have some real stand-up guys, like friends
yeah, he,
that stuck by his side? And
yes,
could
he
you
did.
tell me who they
We
are?
actually, he actually have some really good friends. We actually just lost one yesterday,
Oh, I'm
and so
sorry to
this
hear
was
that.
his name was Quincy. We called him Q from the projects, and he never missed a court date. If my dad needed anything, like even if it was just like tracking somebody down to send a message or just anything, he was there. Even when my grandma passed away on my other side of like on my mom's side, he was there. So like so my dad, when he sent the message, that really, really hurt
Wow.
him. He was like, some people turn into family.
They do. They say
Yeah,
family is not always blood.
it's not. Sometimes a friend can turn into blood.
Yeah.
And that's what he was. And then we also just lost. I don't know if you ever heard of the song Chain Hang Low by Jibs.
I probably have to hear because I really don't know titles, but I definitely know sound.
So my dad was managing an artist from Enterprise named Jibs. And basically he was the next hottest thing out of St. Louis. And he had a partner named Mark Williams, and he just passed too. Like the people that I wanted to like call the most about this is gone.
And who else supported your father? Because you told me one. Is there anybody else that stood?
There's actually so many people that support in different ways. Like there's a lot of like people on the back scenes that's been helping with new appeals, helping put the money together for the lawyers. Like if he need his glasses, they'll buy him some Cartier. So he has a lot of friends all over the United States that love him to death. And every time, you know, when he'll be in prison with these people and they get out, they come find me and they speak so highly of him. Like so they
How?
like
And I want to ask you something. How do you handle the backlash from those that don't want you to tell your father's story, like on social media? Because a lot of people can't handle backlash online.
oh
How do you handle it?
I like going to war. I like it. It make me
Do you
want to
think you
go
get that from
harder.
your father?
Yeah, yeah. But now it's to the point where I gotta just ignore people.
Because it's getting bigger than Nino Brown right now.
It's yeah, it's too big. I can't respond to 7,000
Yeah,
people.
you can. You definitely can.
But I don't even have to no more because other people are saying what I would say. So I don't like now it's our army basically is getting bigger of supporters.
Yeah, it's a lot of people are team Cuffy right now.
I feel like most I feel like the majority is Team Cuffy. That's how much
I'm
love
seeing
we've
it
been
left
getting.
and right. Every time I go
And
online,
and like his Muslim community, he's Muslim, so
oh,
they definitely stand up
and
for him.
somebody
So
on the inside is telling them how much of a stand-up guy your
yeah,
father is.
yeah, every time somebody do their research, he well, like he can't do no wrong in my eyes, of course, but he really is a great person for seriously.
Even though Big Meech denies, being on the paperwork, and having anything to do with your father being on the inside, do you feel like he's only trying to protect image? Do you feel like he's
Well, he
remorseful in any way?
hasn't actually addressed the details.
But do you think
He's
he's
never.
remorseful in any way?
I do think that because Meech was a really good person. Like Meech was super sweet. I do think that it's a regret and something he gonna have to live with for the rest of his life. You got to realize, like my dad was like literally his ride or die.
Wow.
Like would do anything for him without a question. If somebody his enemy, that's my dad enemy automatically. So it's just like to lose that type of support, even with this situation, like my dad would have been fighting for him. Like if it was somebody else, my dad wouldn't have believed it until somebody put the facts down. Even with his own situation, he didn't want to believe it because my mom was irritated because sometimes women can see things more clearly.
It's
She said it
true.
was Meech. She kept saying it was Meech, like
Did
when he
did
was
you
just trying to.
did you see the paperwork yourself?
Yeah, I had the paperwork. I was mailing it to the jails.
Mm. And
I
how
wanted
did
to.
you go about getting the paperwork? Did your dad send it to you or you did your own research?
No, we had access to it through his lawyer.
Oh, okay. Okay. And
So
how did
the
50
ori-
Cent
the
get it? Did he
original
get it
the
through
original
Tammy?
paperwork was kind of messy, and I'm trying to
How
find.
did 50
I have to go through my
Cent get a
emails.
hold to it? Through Tammy Coyne? How did he get it?
Well, I don't know exactly when he got it, or I don't know like how much he was seeing of the stuff that I was doing. I won't know that until maybe one day I talk to him.
Okay.
But I know for a fact him and Tammy been working hand in hand with the BMF show. So she's most definitely have more details that I don't even know that I would like to know.
Yeah, because I think he's thinking about doing a story or a documentary
Yeah,
on Tammy Coyne.
yeah, he's gonna do a documentary.
Wow. That's gonna be really big.
That's gonna be crazy. And at first I felt some type of way because I'm like, I just feel like she just keep winning. Now she about to profit off of a story, but I know that it'll be a piece to the puzzle that I need to know.
But
I just need to know the truth.
do you feel like she shouldn't gain from
I
this
mean,
situation? Because wait a minute
at this
before I finish.
point, oh,
Do
sorry.
you think she shouldn't gain from this situation? Do you think she should be held accountable just as well as Big Meech or Big Meech alone because of the closeness, the connection he had with your father?
The closeness and the connection. I mean, because she really,
She
I mean,
really don't know them.
yeah, she don't know him like that.
Neither
Like Meech owed us
one don't
loyalty.
really know them like that.
Yeah, Meech owed us loyalty. Like she was just somebody sent towards
Yeah,
him.
she was
So
somebody
it's just
sent.
yeah.
Yeah,
So she
absolutely.
don't have. It's not like I grew up around her and she saw our family dynamic. Like so she
But you grew up
is
around Meech.
yeah. So like I feel like his loyalty should have lied with us.
How old were you in that picture with Big Meech when he's leaning on the couch and you're sitting there? How old were you?
I was 4.
You was 4 years old. And
Yeah.
did you call him Uncle Meech?
Yeah, I did. But
Wow.
him and my dad were inseparable. Like
Mhm.
like when we moved to Atlanta, he moved to Atlanta. They did everything together.
Wow. And do they mention Cuffy in BMF, or did they start off and Cuffy told them to take him out? What happened with that?
So they didn't want to pay anybody with the BMF show. So they had to change so many factual details. I think that I honestly like it was a trigger for me, so I'd never watched it. But when they did introduce St. Louis, I believe his name was Jay Pusher. I believe I don't know exactly. I think that's what they are saying. It would be my dad.
Mm. Because when you watch the show, it says a lot of these uh, storylines and details are somewhat fictitious, like it's not actual
Yes.
truth. So they
Yeah.
do elaborate that when it comes on that it's not, some of the scenes are not really uh, true, but it is based
Yeah.
on a true story. Hmm.
Loosely based on a true story.
Loosely based, yes.
But the real story is so much crazier than they could have did in that show. I mean, if they would have
Do
just
you
told the
think if they would have told the real story, a lot of people would be in trouble if the real story was told?
well, I think that with that type of stuff, the only thing there's a statute, I believe, besides with murders, but with just like just just normal events that happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think it came down with them to like if you're telling somebody's story or using their name, then you're gonna have to pay them. Like if they would have just paid everybody something and used everybody's name, then they could have had more of a factual story. So a lot of the characters I believe on the show from what I'm hearing from other people is like it'll be like two people will be mixed into one person basically.
Right. But do
Like
you know that when somebody starts a production and they buy all rights, they don't have to pay anybody because they bought all rights. From my understanding, 50 Cent owns all rights to the title of BMF. It can't be used for a documentary. It can't be used, even though it was used for one before he made the BMF story, but it no longer could be used for
I
movies.
thought it was I thought it was Meech's rights.
No. No, because when Big Meech and Ross linked, and Ross was like, "I'm going to put BMF in theaters." 50 Cent made a rebuttal and said, "I want to see how you're going to do that because I own rights to it now." All right.
Yeah, so that's the part I was confused about. So I know I didn't know if he owned Meech's life rights or just like everybody's like Terry and Meech's. I don't
Basically,
know
he
that
was
part.
saying that in order to get the okay, the green light, as he would say, they would have to come to him.
But if they did do a spinoff and my dad told a story at the end of the day it would be perfect with 50 if 50 already owned the rights on that
Mm.
because then we'll be able to use names.
Oh yeah, most definitely, most
Oh, I
definitely.
mean, we don't know
Yeah, but
what's
that's
to
what I
come,
read. It
but
was in TMZ. You know, I'm always on the internet reading.
I,
And Ross went live with Meech and said, you had a little TV series, but I'm going to do a movie theater movie. I'm gonna do it big. And 50 was like, I wonder how you gonna do that when I own all rights to it.
right. No, I believe it, but the thing is, I know that 50 is not a joke when it comes to business. So I know whatever
Yeah,
deal
he's
he
very
put,
business savvy.
I feel like whatever deal he gave them, they agreed
They
and
did.
it was legit. Now that they may try to sue or whatever, act like it wasn't a fair deal, but 50 is not a joke.
Yeah,
So
covered. He's make sure he covers all ends.
all,
He thinks three
all
steps
bases.
ahead. And we've seen it
Exactly.
time and time again. Yeah.
Yeah. So good luck with that one if they try to get it back. For
Yeah,
real.
that's true. But I thank you for doing this live. I think I asked you all the questions I needed to ask you. I appreciate you. You're such a beautiful woman. I wanted people to, actually see you, but I know you wasn't prepared for this interview. And I just thank you for taking the time out to give me your side of the story because there's so many sides of the stories because there's so many people that have been affected by this. And I just
Yeah.
was, it was a pleasure interviewing his daughter, Cuffy's daughter.
And it was a pleasure talking. Your spirit is
Oh,
beautiful, so it
thank
was a pleasure
you
talking to you
so
as
much.
well.
I wish you
So
could
we're
tell
gonna,
my haters
y-
that.
well, that means you're doing
Yeah,
something right. If you
yeah,
didn't have haters, it would be a problem.
absolutely,
But we're gonna
absolutely.
stay in contact, and
We
then when I do come,
will. We will.
when I
We
come, I'll
definitely have
come
to
on the.
stay in contact.
Yeah, we most definitely will.
I appreciate you. You enjoy the rest of your evening.
You as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to thank Cuffy's daughter, Tamara, for coming on this live, showing me mad love on Geisha 305 Live podcast. Giving us more details on how great her father is, and all the allegations that are out there and all the proof that is out there that's circulating on the internet. Is good to connect with someone that's in the midst of this, besides just on the outside looking in like a window shopper. She's met me. She's considered Big Meech as her uncle. Just to be, heartbroken behind finding out that he can do something like that, to someone that he once considered his brother, close friend, ride or die, and at the end of the day, like she said, sometimes these are things that people have to live with for the rest of their lives when they make such bad choices out here with people that were genuine to them and actually had their back 100%. But this has been Geisha 305 Live, and I'm out. Thank y'all for tuning in, and there will be more interviews to come. Peace out, y'all.